Hey YouTube, I'm hopping on to talk about the election. Of course, it's still going on. It could still go on for a while, and it's looking like there's going to be recounts. Um, but so I don't have necessarily answers for you, but I do have something very important that needs to be established. First off, I'm doing this video because I've seen a lot of stuff on social media from people on the left or people in the Biden camp labeling anyone who questions any sort of legitimacy of what is actually going on as a conspiracy theorist, tinfoil hat wearer, a QAnon follower. And I'm here to challenge that. And I'm here to highlight some of the most atrocious things I've seen in any election ever. So let me just jump into this. I'm going to do a screen share. You see, yes, okay. So first one is, let's just take this one step at a time. Come on, image. Okay. Every TV anchor in the US right now. Yes. Yes, there's a lot of sleep being lost right now. And a lot of our TV anchors are really bending over backwards trying to explain why Biden is winning. And they are dodging a lot of what people believe to be actual concerns, and that's absolutely true. Even Fox, they are also playing that part. Let's take a quick look at this. See if I can make this any bigger. Okay, not really, but this is Trump in Philadelphia 2 days ago. That's a crowd of 50,000 people. That is the biggest rally he had, but Trump consistently has had rallies with tens of thousands. In fact, Trump, leading up to the election, the week of, prior to the election, Trump was hitting 3 rallies a day, sometimes in 3 different states, all with tens of thousands of people. This was your average. This is your average Biden rally. And here, this was the reporter there. I'm sorry, but this is a Joe Biden rally, even with fewer seats because of social distancing, couldn't fill the second row. Prepare for 4 more years of Trump. That is yet to be seen in that last part, but this is true. A lot of Biden's rallies had almost no one there. And I think part of that is because Biden was trying to present this image that he cared about not spreading the virus, but he couldn't fill the second row of even the seats he laid out with social distancing in play. So how does Joe Biden, the gentleman who is drawing crowds like this, you can't even fill 20 or 30 seats, now the candidate with the most votes in presidential history. Biden has more votes than Obama had, and he drew crowds like this. It does not make sense. Well, back to that one. Here's how. Democrats going to the polls in 2020. All the stickers there. Not necessarily. That's not exactly what happened, but I thought it was funny to mention. Okay, so this is very important to point out. I'm sure many of you have seen this and don't know exactly what this is. This is both Michigan and Wisconsin have vertical lines where Biden votes are injected in. WTF. This is Michigan. This is Wisconsin. This is a logarithmic scale, so left to right is time, and bottom to top is the amount you're seeing. Red is Trump, blue is Biden. What do you see in both states? A jump up. This one, especially in Wisconsin, is especially dramatic. Wisconsin turnout by a year. I want to talk about Wisconsin. There was a meme going around highlighting Wisconsin's vote actually exceeding the amount of registered voters. That has been debunked, but regardless of debunking, does this make sense? In the year 2000, 67% of Wisconsinites voted. 2004, 73%. 2008, 69%. 2012, 70%. 2016, 67%. All of a sudden, in 2020, we see 89%, near 90% of the population of the state of Wisconsin have come out to vote during a pandemic. Does that make any sense? Here's another highlight. This is Michigan. This is that jump you guys saw, but in the actual numbers. This was the number at around 3:30 a.m. Michigan time. Donald Trump had 2,200,000. Joe Biden had 1,999,000. And then within half an hour, all of a sudden you see a jump. Joe Biden now has 2,130,000, and Donald Trump remains the same at 2,200,000. You're saying Joe Biden had 138,000 votes just for him, only counting Joe Biden. Only Biden gets 138,000 votes in this half an hour time in the middle of the night in Michigan, a state Trump was winning by 4 points. 5 points. Trump was winning by 5 points. And at this point in the election, Trump was still winning. But now, since then, Michigan has flipped. That is very suspicious, and it is statistically impossible. Next point to bring up here. Let's talk about Wisconsin a little bit more. President Trump has formally petitioned for a state recount as the current results fall within the 1% of legal margin error. Several outlying counties are leaning heavily Republican, including Kenosha, Green Bay, Pierce, and Richland. Yeah, Kenosha, I mean, of course they would. And Arizona is second, Pennsylvania is second, Nevada. Okay. One really quick thing about Michigan. Michigan was expected to go completely red this year because a lot of Michigonians are not at all happy about the lockdowns. Governor Whitmer has been one of the most draconian governors in the history of their state and has been very abusive towards their people's constitutional rights. And everyone was expecting, or a lot of people were expecting Michigan to go red this year because of that. And they were until 3:30 in the morning last night. But back to this, there's other states that are shady, of course. Arizona is the other big story. Arizona have removed Arizona from Biden's electoral column count. Oh, Facebook and Twitter removed Arizona from Biden's electoral column count on their official election maps, and CNN never called it. For those of you who don't know, Fox called Arizona the winner when there was still around 10% left to be counted. And it seems like mass media is trying to call this before it's over. There's 300 people right now at, I don't know if it's still that amount, last I saw, protesting right now in front of the counting office for one of the counties. Biden currently has a 90,000 person lead with 520,000 ballots remaining. But we as in the Republicans, this is where I'm taking it from, are expected to win 70% of these ballots. And because of that, they're expected to win Arizona by 30,000 votes. That's 11. That's a lot of electoral votes there. This could decide the winner. Another factor is there's been a report of people at the ballots were handed permanent markers, and using a permanent marker with a ballot will void their ballot. So a lot of people are demanding to have their vote recasted. So that's another factor. Pennsylvania, Trump at one point was up by over 1 million. Now he's up by, I think it's down to 500,000 votes with for 3/4 of it tallied. But 1.5 million mail-in ballots remain outstanding. But included in that is 5 heavily Republican-leaning counties. Even if 95% of the ballots go to Biden, Trump still wins the state with over 40,000 votes. but this campaign will make a public statement with evidence with ballot fraud. That's the Trump campaign. This, of course, is from the Republicans. Didn't go to me, but one of my political colleagues shared this with me. Nevada, this is going to be the big story. There's a popular meme going around with the sloth from Zootopia in the DMV. You're like, this guy is the guy who's counting Nevada, because Nevada's taking forever. But it's looking like Trump gets a win by a margin of over 5,500 votes. And this is important to take from all this. Anyone who thinks that 270 electoral point declaration in the next 24 hours by the mainstream media or a specific candidate is deliberately to sway public opinion and is deter us from voting and actually pushing for a legal fairness, because it's looking like there might be recounts in Wisconsin, in Michigan, possibly in Pennsylvania, and there's a lot of points for that to grab. So that's what's going on in these states. But let's take a look at this. Come on. Okay, so if Joe Biden is elected, this is going to be your president. 1991, he attacked Anita Hill. He wrote his famously declared Joe Biden bill would put more black people in jail than any other bill in U.S. history. And actually, the quick note on that: Trump has had the highest minority vote a Republican has ever had, and ironically, Joe Biden has had the highest white male percentage vote towards a Democrat versus Republican in the history of U.S. elections. So that's fascinating. 95, Biden wrote the Counterterrorism Act, which also later evolved into the Patriot Act. 96, voted against gay marriage. 99, voted against Glass-Steagall Act. 2001, voted for Patriot Act. 2002, voted for Iraq War. Voted in 2005, voted end bankruptcy protection for students, for student loans. 2018, George W. Bush was presented with a Liberty Medal by Joe Biden. So if you guys don't like Republicans, and if you guys are Democrat, why did you vote for Joe Biden? Here's an example of Joe Biden's strategy with climate change and how to fight that. He wants to raise taxes to combat that, but this is a very fitting meme. I'm pretty sure we'll be able to control the Earth's climate with a tax. That's how we solve poverty, homelessness, healthcare, and the high cost of college. Yes. Joe Biden is also the first candidate to potentially win an election by telling its people he's going to raise taxes. Does that make any sense? And this is a very important thing to consider. We did it, Kamala. We won the White House. And of course, Kamala pushing Joe Biden off a cliff. But the reality of it is Joe Biden is not going to make it through these next 4 years if he's elected. Kamala Harris, who performed among the worst of all Democratic candidates for candidacy to become president of the United States, performed among the worst, yet somehow she's going to be potentially the next president of the United States. She is also a DA who hid evidence in San Francisco and Oakland, who put a lot of people in jail for a long time, some of which were executed because she hid evidence of their innocence to keep up her track record as DA. In fact, Sean King stated that the two candidates he would never support for president were Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. So we're stopping screen share here. All right. So Trump can still win. Biden can still win. There's going to be a recount. And if there's not, it's going to go to the Supreme Court. So To say the least, this is going to be very, very messy for a long time. Um, yeah, the other thing I want to say really quick about Biden and why I can't believe he's still potentially going to win is I've said this before in my prediction video that Joe Biden is the lockdown candidate. Joe Biden wants to extend the lockdowns, and Donald Trump is the open up candidate. And in my opinion, from my observation of the general public in the United States, we do not want to lock down again. We want to open up our economy. People want to get back to work. Yet somehow Joe Biden is about to be elected president. So, one of our next videos here on this podcast, we're going to be doing a video about the lockdowns and what it means and the dangers of it and how bad it could really get globally. So that's it for me. I'll catch you guys on this next video. See ya.